everyone. I, Suvarna Muzumdar, Assistant Professor in Electronics and Communication Department of Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, welcomes you on lecture on 8086 addressing modes. Before this lecture, we have discussed about the features of 8086. That is, 8086 is a 16-bit microprocessor and it uses a 20 address line to access 1 megabyte of memory. It uses the concept of memory segmentation so that it can have a separate memory location for code, for writing data, and for mentioning the stack. It also uses instruction queue so that it can have a pipelining architecture, and by this it can have a high speed processing capability. So by using 8086 processor, we have an advantage over 8085 is like it is a 16-bit processor, so it can process a data more data as compared to 8085 as it is a 8-bit processor. And also we had find that in the architecture part also that in 8086 the architecture is divided into two parts. One is execution unit and one is bus interface unit. So, and these two units work simultaneously so that it can again speed up the processing capability of 8086 because fetching and execution is done simultaneously in 8086. Before discussing about the instruction set of 8086, I am going to cover about the addressing modes of 8086. So, in 8086, or we can say what is first addressing mode. So, every instruction of a program has to operate on data, or we can say we use instruction in a program which can perform some task over the data or operand. The different ways in which this source operand is denoted in a instruction set is known as addressing mode. Means how we are defining the operand, where this operand is available, whether it is available in memory or whether it is available in internal registers of microprocessor, or whether this data is available in input output devices. So, and how we are going to access this data in our instruction, what is the process of accessing this data. The different ways of accessing the data is known as addressing modes. In case of 8086, there are 12 addressing modes, and we are grouping them into 6 groups. First group consists of addressing for registers and immediate data. In this, there are two types of modes, addressing mode. One is register addressing, where we are specifying operand in the register. Second is the immediate addressing, means we are specifying the data in the instruction itself. So, this is one group. Second group consists of addressing modes which are accessing the data from memory. Means our data is available in memory, our operand is available in memory, and now in our instruction is such a way that we are accessing the data from memory. So, there are different ways. The first one is that we are specifying directly the address in the instruction itself, that is direct addressing. Next is we are indirect addressing, means address is stored in some other register and we are specifying the name of that register in our instruction set, in our instruction. Third one is the base addressing, where we are defining some base address, and by having some mathematical calculation we can have a actual physical address for that particular location from where we have to read or write the data. Base index addressing, where we are using the base register as well as index register to calculate the physical address. And next is the string addressing. In string addressing, we are transferring a group of data from one memory location to other. Means a string is, we are operating on a string. So, all these come under the group memory data. Third group is addressing modes for IO port. In this third group, we are dealing with the input output devices. Either directly we are specifying the port address of input output device in our instruction, or the second one is the indirect one, where the address of input output port is defined in stored in some register and we are using that register in our instruction. Next group is relative addressing. In this case, we are just having we are using IP instruction pointer, and we are giving a relative address for moving from one location to another for accessing the data. Last group, group 5, that is implied. In case of implied addressing, neither we are specifying the memory nor we are specifying the register, but the data is available in the opcode. Means we are specifying opcode in such a way that from that opcode only microprocessors comes to know that where is the data, what is the location of data. Now we are going to discuss one by one with the example. So first of all is the register addressing. In case of register addressing, we are specifying, just a second, yeah. In case of register addressing, we are specifying move A, L, comma BH, one of the example for register addressing. Here, the content of BH register is stored in AL register. So, we are specifying here only the address, only the register name. We are not specifying the data in this instruction. And here we can have a 8-bit transfer of data. We can have a 16-bit transfer also. Suppose we want move AX comma BX. In this case, the content of BX register get copied into AX register. We are not specifying the content in the instruction. Whatever the data in BX register, that data gets stored in AX register. In case of move AL comma BH, the content of BH will be stored in AL. Whatever will be the data. Okay, so we are not specifying in the instruction what is that data. But in case of immediate addressing, we are specifying the data in the instruction itself, that is the immediate. That's why we called it this instruction as immediate addressing. In case of move CL comma 08, the CL, the data 08H gets stored in CL. CL is 8-bit register. In case if we have to store 16-bit data, then we can use either AX, BX, CX or DX, or we have DS, SS, all these registers. But when we have to initialize these all registers, we use this instruction move that particular 16-bit address register, comma immediate data. Now here in this case 0A9F, this is the data which we are going to store in BX register. So BH get value 0A and BL will have register value 9F. This is the immediate addressing. Next, for memory addressing, that to access our data from memory, second group, first of all I am going to recall the things related to memory access, that in case of 8086, as we all know, there are 20 address lines. So, in case of 8086, it can access 1 megabyte of memory. The registers which are used in 8086, each are of 16-bit wide, okay, but the physical address, actual physical address is of 20-bit, okay, and we have to calculate this physical address. But as I told you earlier also, that all the registers which are used in 8086 are 16-bit wide. So, we have to use some address calculation circuitry to calculate the physical address. So, in case of memory address, we represent them as a segment colon offset. We always represent our address as segment colon offset. If I have to specify it, I can have CSIP, or I can specify DSSI, I can specify SS as SSSP, that is stack segment, ESDI. This is the default memory address nomenclature we are using. Now, if we have to access some memory, then how it is going to access? Microprocessor will access memory through bus interface unit, and in bus interface unit we have address generation circuitry. That address generation circuitry will generate a physical address or absolute address of 20-bit by using segment register content and offset content. Okay, so how it is doing, earlier also I told you that, for example, take the example that segment address is 98AB and offset address is F012. So this 98AB is multiplied by 10, or we can say in decimal, if we can say, it is multiplied by 16, and in hexadecimal it is multiplied by 10H, and we have a value 98AB0, and we added offset address, that is F012 in this segment address, and we have a address, physical address. We calculate this physical address. This is done by address generation circuitry. And whenever microprocessor has to access a data from memory, it has to generate this physical address. So in case of group 2, we are discussing the addressing modes which are getting the data from memory. So in case of that group 2, first one is the direct addressing mode. In case of direct addressing mode, in the instruction itself we are specifying the address. Now here the address which is specified is we can say effective address. Okay, this is the effective address. And how we can how microprocessor will come to know that this is an effective address or what? We have to specify that square bracket. If this square bracket is missing, then this data is considered as a immediate data. For example, if by mistake if I have written it like 1254H, then in this case this 1254H will be considered as immediate data, and this data is stored in CX. But if I have to store the content of this particular memory location, then I have to make it as square bracket, and when the square bracket is there, then it is specified that the content of memory location has to be transferred to CX. Now how it is going to do that? Because CX is a 16-bit register and the memory location which are using, it is it only have 8-bit data. So the content of 1254 location, this is only the 16-bit. We will have a fixed, we will generate a address of 20-bit. Okay, by using DS as a data segment, and we will multiply it by 10, and address generation circuitry will add 1254 into this, and the address generated by this, the content at this location will be stored in CL and incremented by 1, and the content will be stored in CH. This will be done by the microprocessor itself. Now, next addressing mode is register indirect addressing mode. In case of register indirect addressing mode, we are not specifying the address location in the instruction. We are specifying the register. So we can use BX, BP, DI or SI. These four are used to specify the effective address. So in case of indirect addressing, we will use BX, BP, BI, DI or SI as a register. So first we will initialize BX register with the address. For example, in earlier case, I can use this BX, 1254H, and then I can use this instruction move CX, BX. So BX is having 1254H. The content of 1254H location will be transferred to CH. Now how it is going to do that? In case here the DS register is considered as a base address. So the content of DS is multiplied by 16 decimal, or we can say 10H. In hexadecimal we can have 10H. Okay, and this will be the base address. We add it with effective address, and we have machine address, or you can say it as a physical address, and content of this physical address is stored in CL, and we will microprocessor will add 1 to this address and store the next value in CH automatically. This is the indirect way. Next is base addressing mode. In case of base addressing mode, only the BX or BP register is used to hold the base value for effective address, and we can have a signed displacement or unsigned displacement. Now in this case the difference is like that. Here we are specifying effective address or in our BX or BP register, and we can use a displacement also. Either we can have a displacement of 8 bit if we are going with signed. Signed in means positive increment mode or decrement mode, and if we are not using a signed displacement, then we go with 16 bit unsigned displacement. And the effective address here, like in this example, move AX comma BX plus 08. Now in this case the effective address is calculated by BX plus 008, and this effective address is added with base address, and then we have a machine address, that is the physical address. So in case of if we are using BX, that we have to keep this in mind, that microprocessor will refer DS for base address, and if we are using BP register to hold the base value, then in that case microprocessor will refer stack segment for base address. So this while writing a program as a programmer, we have to keep this in mind, that with BX DS is associated and with BP SS is associated. Now in case of index register, here base addressing, we are using only base register, either BX or BP. In case of index addressing, we can use either SI or DI to hold the index value of a memory data. And we have here again we are having a displacement either signed or unsigned way. Now if we are using displacement of SI or DI, then we can have either we are dealing with DS or ES. If SI, then DS, and if EI, then we are dealing with extra segment. So here you can see that in this example, move CX comma SI plus 0A2H. So how we are going to do this? As it is written as 0A2H. Okay. So these are the signed extended. Signed extended means here A2 we are taking it as a in case of 8 bit we are having only 00 to 7F as a positive number, and from 80 to FF we are consider it as a negative number. So here we are having this FFA2. We are taking it as a signed extended, and then we are added this signed extended value to SI to calculate effective address, and DS is used for base address, and the value, the physical address calculated, the value of that particular address is stored in CL, incremented by 1, next value is stored in CH. Now the next is base index addressing. In case of base index addressing, we will use base registers also, index register also, and displacement also. Now in this case, the effective address is the combination of all these three, BX, SI, and the address value. So now here you can see that we have written 0A. Okay, 00 to 7F. These are the positive value. So that's why here it is 00. Okay, this is a positive value. In case of microprocessor, we don't have anything like positive or negative, but with the most significant bit will represent, if it is 0, it represents a positive number, and if most significant bit of that bit data is 1, then we represent it as a negative number. So in previous case, I have taken FF in this place, and now here I am taking 00 because this is a positive number, and the effective address is calculated by the adding the value of BX, SI, and 00, and now the effective address which is calculated, it is added with base address to generate a physical address, or you can say the machine address. Now the next last addressing mode in addressing modes for memory data is string data, string addressing. In case of string operation, a particular string of data is transferred, or we can manipulate that data, some calculation is done at that particular end. So effective address is stored in SI, and the destination means in case for example we are using move S, this S specify that we are working with string. Okay. then byte or word, whether we are moving or copying 8-bit data from one location to another, or we are copying 16-bit data from one place to another. Then if 16-bit data, then we are using word location. Now here move S means string. So now default microprocessor will come to know that whatever will be the value of SI, it is considered as an effective address, and base address will be considered from DS, and we will have a machine address with the combination of DS and SI. Now the data which is stored at that particular location DSSI, that data has to be moved to the location which is specified by ESDI, which is the destination memory location. So destination memory location is specified by ESDI, and source location will be specified by DSSI. Now the machine address for both source and destination is calculated, and the content from source location to destination is transferred. First byte is transferred. Now depending on the direction flag, a flag is available in flag register, that is DF. This flag, if this flag is 1, it indicates that auto decrementation will take place. Decrementation means the content of SI will be decremented. For example, if SI is 1, 2, 3, 4, now next location will be A 1, 2, 3, 3. And similarly, DI, if DI is 2, 3, 0, 0, then next location will be 2, 2, FF. Decremented. Okay, so auto decrement mode. If DF is 0, then in auto increment mode. So before using this moves byte instruction, string operation in our string instruction in our program, we have to first initialize the data direction flag or direction flag, whether we have to go with auto increment mode or auto decrement mode, and the content which are going to be transferred, how many bytes have to be transferred, that also we have to initialize it. Okay, we will see in program how we are going to use this string addressing, but in case of string you have to keep this in mind that 3 things have to be taking default. One is SI, DI and direction flag. Next group 3. This addressing mode is the mode where we are dealing with input output port. IO port are used. So there are 2 ways to specify the address of IO port. One is direct addressing, that we are specifying directly the address of port in the instruction itself, and second one is indirect mode. In case of direct mode, the address is specified in the instruction itself. Okay, like here 0A. 0A is a port address. The content of this port address has to be copied to AL. Now this you have to keep this in mind, that whenever we are dealing with input output port, the data will be stored in accumulator only. If there is an 8-bit data, then that data will be stored in AL register. If data is 16-bit, then data will be in AX register. Means when we are using in instruction, we are taking or reading the data from input port, and that data will be stored in accumulator, whether AL or AX depending on the data size. And if we are writing something, that is we are displaying something on output port, we are using out instruction, then in that case the data from AX or AL register will be given to the output device, whether for displaying or for printing, like that. So in case of in AL comma 00H, we can have in AX comma whatever the address we have specified. Okay, then 16-bit data will be transferred. Okay, in case of indirect addressing, the DX, now in this case also one thing was, in case of indirect addressing, DX register will be come into picture, and DX register will be used as to hold the address of that particular port, where we have to either read the data or transfer the data. So in this example we are transferring the data, so the content of AX get out to the location which is specified in DX. So DX, the content of DX is considered as a port address. Next group is relative addressing. In case of this addressing mode, the effective address of a program instruction is specified relative to the instruction pointer by 8-bit sign displacement. So, in case of relative addressing mode, whatever the displacement we are specifying, this displacement is dealing default with IP, instruction pointer. So, in case of this example, JZ, so whenever 0 flag is 1, this control will be transferred to 0BH location. So, how control is transferred to 0B location? The effective address will be IP plus 00B. And in this case, the base address is calculated from CS. And physical address will be the combination of BA plus, that is base address plus effective address. So, this if 0 flag is 1, then only the program control jumps to the new address location. Otherwise, it will continue with the continuous location. Okay. The last addressing mode is implied addressing mode. In this, the instruction which we are using does not have any operand, or we can say in this mode of instruction, no operand is specified. The instruction itself specify the data to be operated by the instruction. For example, CLC. CLC is an instruction which have only the opcode, and this opcode will specify the microprocessor that where is the operand. That in this case CLC, the clear to carry flag has to be cleared. So, the content is in carry flag, okay, and what has to be done? It has to be 0. So, we are not specifying either register or memory location, neither we are immediate data. The data is hidden, that is implied by the instruction only. So, these all are the 12 addressing modes in case of 8086. Thank you.